In Lingua Podcast live from Dessau is broadcast from Mitteldeutschland and features all things languages. The show is hosted by our teachers, presenting students and guests from all walks of language learning experiences.
So, now say hello.
So, for the next segment of In Lingua Podcast live from Dessau, we have a very special episode today. I started teaching a class of engineers about a year ago. The name of the company is FILTRONtec. They are located in Wolfen. And I invited them today as a group project so we could talk about project planning on their latest, most innovative project that they developed it, now they're manufacturing it, and they're selling it. But before we get into that, let's hear from our classmates. Let's hear from our students today. On my left is sitting
Gerd Johannemann is my name. I work for the company FILTRONtec for 5 years. I studied mechanical engineering and I'm employed as a project engineer. I'm responsible for all the smaller requests of the customers, which are, for example, parking garages or metro stations, also smaller city tunnels. And I have to make the price and the technical inquiries. And if we think for years, we had the diesel affair. We are looking for city filter solutions, but I was also on conferences and fairs.
Okay. Our second student is Markus.
My name is Markus. I'm working for the company since 4 years. I'm working as a controller. My responsible is the accounting, finances, human resources, and I also support the calculation.
Okay. And last but not least,
Hello, my name is Marc, and I worked in the company since 2015. In 2007, I finished my apprenticeship for cutting machine operator, specializing in turning technology. 2009, I studied mechanical engineering and welding technologies, and in 2020, I finished my Master of Science degree. I work in this company to make new construction, create the drawings of them, and I make the static calculation of some steel constructions. When a large project takes place abroad, I work as a supervisor.
okay. And I must say, we have to shout out to a fourth student who unfortunately is not with us today. His name is Dima. And Dima, when you hear this,
We all missing you.
Yeah, we hope you smile. Okay.
Greetings.
Greetings to Dima, right? Shout out to Dima. Okay, so we've introduced ourselves. That's fantastic. Can we talk a little bit about the history of FILTRONtec? Is it an old company? Is it a new company?
I think FILTRONtec is a new company. It's founded since 2000.
Yes, in 2000, founded in Bavaria.
Okay, in Bavaria.
In 2006, they founded a branch in Sachsen-Anhalt, Saxony-Anhalt, to implement some R&D.
Okay, so the office in Wolfen was opened in 2006
Yeah.
as a research and development. Okay.
Yes.
And the headquarters is in Bavaria.
The headquarters in Bavaria, in Starnberg. It's a city by Munich.
Okay. And who is the president of this company?
The president is Dr. Karl Dickels. He founded this company at first with his partner, Dr. Kerzel, but since 2000, I think he's the only owner of the company.
Okay. And how many employees work in the Bavarian office?
In Bavaria, there's only one.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dr. Dickels
Okay.
in his person.
Okay.
Then we have 8 people in Wolfen
Mhm.
and 1 in Spain.
Okay, and you have a small office in Spain.
Yeah.
And you're trying right now, you're trying to open an office in China. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes.
we think about this.
Okay.
It's correct because China is the biggest market, and for sure we try it.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
the main work is in the office in Wolfen.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, okay, so what is FILTRONtec? Before we start talking about some of the projects that you guys have worked on and are working on at the moment, what is FILTRONtec?
Yeah, FILTRONtec makes planning and commissioning of efficient air filter systems for road tunnels, for example. We support companies in different countries with the supply, installation system, operation and maintenance. And for example, we have other offices in Hong Kong, Sydney and Madrid.
Okay. So the projects that, when I first met you guys, the projects that you had completed and the projects that you were working on, you had a project in Spain that's finished, right?
Yes, that's finished, and Sydney is also finished.
Okay.
The last project in filter for tunnels is in Hong Kong,
Uh-huh.
and it's finished, but it's still running because there are some work after
Okay.
sale. Work.
So we've talked a little bit about the Hong Kong project. Mark has visited the site how many times?
I think in 2018, every 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, so you're going there to supervise the installation of the filter
Yes.
systems.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about that project, just so our audience understands what exactly you guys do. There's a highway system in Hong Kong, right? And how many kilometers was that project?
The tunnel is 4.7 kilometers long,
Okay.
and there are 3 buildings at the east-west side and in the middle of the tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
where our equipment is. We clean the air inside of the tunnel,
Uh-huh.
and the cleaned air goes back in the tunnel.
Ah.
It's not blowing up.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it doesn't come outside, it stays, so the clean air is regenerated,
Yes.
or recirculated, I should say.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
There are 2 types of pollutant removal systems
Mhm.
for tunnel air filtration. At first, we have the electrostatic precipitation,
Precipitation.
an electrostatic precipitator, ESP we say so,
Mhm.
is used to remove particulate matter, PM. And second, we have the denitrification, DENOx. The denitrification, DENOx, is primarily for the removal of nitrogen dioxide. So that is what we do in our filter systems.
Whatever is coming out of the exhaust
Yes,
of the cars
Yeah.
or the trucks.
we will filter this.
Okay. Now, how are those particles? Okay, let's say, because I don't understand this, right? Because I'm an idiot. Car is going through a tunnel. Exhaust is coming out of the pipe
And from the brakes
and from the brakes
and the wheel.
And the tires?
and the tires.
Tires.
Okay, so see, I wouldn't even think about that. So those particles are sucked into your
Yeah.
filter system?
Yes,
Okay.
absolute. They are sucked in the filter system, and we clean just with our equipment
Mhm.
and our know-how the air.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very good.
And then those same particles that go into the filter system are circulated back into the tunnel system
Both the air
as
gets
fresh air.
Yeah, fresh air, and our air goes back partly in the filter system.
Okay.
In the tunnel system.
So nothing is escaping into the environment.
That's correct.
Okay. So how long does it take for this type of, we're talking about 4 kilometers of tunnel road systems, right? when do they call you guys to come in and install your product?
I think the first contact was 2010.
Uh-huh.
The CEO flies to Hong Kong,
Right.
Ms. De from Wolfen, and had the first contact to the highway department and the other people from the government.
Okay.
And then it goes step by step. Building company gets the order for the whole tunnel,
Okay.
and then they speak with us, and I think we get the order 2014.
Yes.
Okay, so the conversation starts in 2010. 4 years later, you get the tender. All right. Then you have, okay, so in those 4 years, do you have the design of the construction project?
Yeah,
Are you
we
already...
have our know-how, we have our construction, and we try to use this for this special local, what can I say?
You can say it in German if you want to.
Yeah, for the local Bedingungen. Also,
Yeah, what you found there.
what you find there, you know, it's not every time it's the same in every city, and you know, we have to look for our construction, what we do.
Okay. Okay, so if you can use some sort of like construction companies in Hong Kong to save money, right?
Yeah, sure.
Then you're looking for those contractors in Hong Kong. But the manufacturing of the filter systems and whatever you need outside of Hong Kong is done in Germany?
Yes.
Okay.
There are some companies who make the ESP filters, some water tanks, for example, or the high voltage transformer, also a company in Germany.
Okay, so you just used 3 terms. The filter system, the water storage, and the
High voltage.
Okay, so are there basically 3 components to this particular design?
Yes.
Oh.
What's
the
the
active carbon part?
the active carbon part? Okay, so there's 4 main stages, not steps. There's 4 main components
Component, yes.
to this
components.
project. Okay, perfect. Now, how do you ship it? Like, how do you get? I mean, how do you manufacture? Okay, what percentage of this process is manufactured in Germany?
I think everything.
100%.
Nearly
Yeah,
100%.
Nearly 100%.
Only some nuts and small parts,
Okay, like screws.
screws,
Bolts.
And so, yeah, bolt screws.
Yeah, but the carbon bore, whereas the active carbon inside was manufactured in Thailand.
Okay, okay.
some
you-
parts.
Some parts, yeah.
Okay.
But they don't have the quality we need in these parts.
Okay.
So we changed it, and it was also delivered from Wolf and Enricat in, what's the town? Gardelegen?
Yeah, from Germany.
In Germany.
From Germany, yes.
Okay, so your suppliers are mostly German suppliers.
Yes.
Okay, except this one product, carbon product from Thailand.
Yes.
All right. So your suppliers are manufacturing it. They box it up. Is it on a ship or is it on an airplane?
No, we have a forwarder, and the transportation is mostly with big containers with the ship.
Okay.
Everything.
So Mark corresponds his travel to the cargo arriving. Do you actually go to the dock?
No. Normally they put the containers on a lorry, drive the lorries to do it on place, and then we checked what's inside the container, and then they put it out, and then we installed it time by time.
Okay, so this is the next question because Mark's on site. The container has arrived. He sees the product. Who are you asking to install it?
We have some worker from China or Philippines, and then we show them how to install the different parts, and then they make this, and we control it during their installation.
Okay, so you're supervising the installation of the work.
Yes.
So are you having like morning meetings with them? Like design plans are on the wall and like you're using a translator or you're speaking in English?
Now we speak all in English there, and sometimes we had every day a morning meeting, and some special meetings in the evening if something happens, for example.
Do you have a translator just in case there's some miscommunications?
No, we only speak English in Hong Kong.
Okay. In general, how was that experience communicating in English with Chinese workers or Filipino workers?
Sometimes you have to to speak with hand and feet.
With gestures? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But mostly you have a drawing too.
Yes.
And then you can show what to do, and mostly they say understand.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Also, is there a lot of other contractors? Is there work going on around?
Yes.
Is that sometimes difficult, or how do you compromise that?
Sometimes, for example, was another company who makes some pipe installation on the wall. Then we said to those people, oh, you can't install these pipes on this corner, for example. We need this on our only pipes. And then we installed our system, and some days later they reinstalled our systems and installed their systems there.
Okay, so sometimes there's big communication problems.
Yes, but in the most of this time, we have no connection to other companies
Okay.
who not are involved in our system.
So what's happening in Wolfen when Mark is abroad? Are you monitoring, like you're in charge of the finances?
Yes, well, in Wolfen we managed the material transport. We have a company in Germany, Wolfen Endrikat, in Gerstungen, and all material goes to this place.
Mm-hmm.
They packing the containers and send them to Hong Kong, but we have to coordinate the company which transported this for us, and
Okay.
we have some problems with dates,
Mhm.
that you get a ship sometimes.
Okay.
Many companies suddenly want to export things to Hong Kong or China, and you get no capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have no problems. The prices are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to pay the double price since the last time.
Okay.
And some parts are so empfindlich.
We have to deliver it carefully. So
Yeah,
They're fragile.
yeah, we transported them with aircraft.
Okay. So the instruments or the equipment that is more fragile is put on a plane.
The high voltage parts
Okay.
Goes with the airplane.
The high
Because-
voltage parts.
6 weeks on a ship
Uh-huh.
is not so good for them.
Mm.
Also, you have this rolling of the ship
Yeah.
in the water. Parts can
Yeah, they can get loose, they can
move.
fall apart.
Yeah,
The
and
ship can crash, or not the ship can crash, the ship can sink.
no,
or
that's not so often. But
There are pirates. The ship can be captured.
no, they lose
the containers.
containers sometimes.
Yeah. Have you guys ever lost a container?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, we have
Let's all knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The manager goes to Hong Kong in 2010. Today it's 2021 and the project is still yet to be finished. 4 kilometers, more than 10 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, but you have make a lot of documentation. The Chinese people or the Hong Kong people don't install everything without the documentation or the documentation is approved.
Okay.
And so sometimes you send an email with the documentation, and then comes the email back with a lot of different questions, but because they don't understand how it works or whatever.
So does that mean you have to book a ticket and go back on site to sort of explain?
No,
Okay.
No, you have to make this in the written form,
Uh-huh.
and you have to prove it, and you have to everything write down, or maybe made a new drawing, or
Okay.
change something.
Are you guys also using like online platforms to communicate, like Zoom or something like
I
this?
think not so often.
Okay.
normally we use Skype when there are special meetings.
Okay. If there are these questions. that
Yes,
come
or
up.
emails.
Okay. So that sounds like a long project. Are you proud? Like when you see this thing finally implemented, and it came from Germany, and it's designed by your company, and it's put together by all you guys working together.
I think.
Does it feel good?
You think it's just a project, but I think what you say, you can be proud about this.
Yeah.
But you have this not very often in the world.
Yeah, but only if you know that your system is installed there. But the normal people in Hong Kong doesn't know what's in the building or what's under the building, because our installation was in the basement, and normally you don't see this in this.
Yeah, and that's the way it kind of should be, right? The average person, like going through a tunnel, they just want clean air, right? They don't think about all the man hours and the design and the plans of how to filter out all these like harmful chemicals and emissions.
Yeah, you have
elements,
the
right?
emission in the harbor of Hong Kong. Yeah, you have the emission of the cars and all the environment. I mean, but the city, I think they're doing something for the environment in Hong Kong, and it's a good thing.
That's a good point you bring up. Is FILTRONtec ultimately an environmental company?
Sure, yes.
Yes.
No, it's every time, if you have such a project, I think it's an optimization of power consumption,
Yeah.
costs money, of the civil impact, what you have, it's the bad air, and the air quality, what you want to have. We have our products produce this, and the target is for us to make the clean air, to produce the filter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
No, you have a special problem in cities like Hong Kong. You have the high houses,
Uh-huh.
and every year the houses goes higher and higher.
Right.
But if you see in Germany, like Hamburg, or Munich, or Amsterdam in Netherlands, or London, or Paris,
Mm-hmm.
you are not allowed to build such high houses.
Okay.
Normally they are capped at 6
Stories.
Floors.
Yeah, 6 stories.
So you have no problem. You build a chimney, double the highest house, and you can put out the dusty air in the sky.
Right.
But if you build a 200-meter chimney in Hong Kong,
Right.
next year there's a house near this, it's higher.
Yeah, that's true.
So you cannot blow up the dust in the air.
Okay.
And you have to build some things in the underground infrastructure
Right.
to clean the air.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, are we done talking about the Hong Kong project? Is that good?
Yes.
Did we say everything we needed to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So over, like I said, when did we start this class? We started this class 2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that right? And it's funny, like during the pandemic, this was the only class that I kept driving to. But we did wear masks. We were protective. We were social distancing, so we followed the rules. But unbeknownst to me, you guys were secretly working on a project that I was not privileged to. Well, why would I be? I'm not an employee of the company. But I was a little hurt, I must say. It hurt my feelings just a little bit. I thought we were close friends. Now, so over the course of the last year, these guys, they have been working on a new innovative project that recently has begun to be manufactured. And the first units have already been sold. So I want to talk about this project. Who wants to introduce? Okay, first of all, just tell us what it is.
It's in the main thing. It's furniture who can filter air. You can see if, so for example, in other companies they have a lot of this types of machinery. You can put it in the corner of the room, and you suck in dirty air and blow out cleaned air. But all these products looks like the same, and our thinking was to make it different to the other companies. And so we make furniture where you can change the design, and you have all these parts inside to clean everything what you want, dirt, particles, and viruses, and so on.
Okay, so you use the word furniture. So it looks like a piece of furniture. Can you tell our audience, our listeners, what are the dimensions of this piece of furniture?
It is 600 and 600 wide. And
We speak about millimeter.
millimeter, yes.
That's good, that's good.
And 2 meter and 30 high.
Okay, so it's it looks like a standing unit, right?
Yes.
How tall is it?
It's
2 meter and 30,
yeah, looks like a little tower.
yes.
Looks
Four
like a,
corner. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what it looks like, because our listeners, of course, it's only audio. What does it look like? How it look like a small tower, like you said. But is there something else that it looks like?
It looks like an information furniture. You can bring on for the restaurants, the card of the meals,
Okay,
all the information in Lingua, go there to room Halle, go there to room Sydney, go there to room New
right.
York.
So it can display, but it looks like something you would see at an airport that shows you like
Yeah.
departures.
An information
Okay, an information tower. Right, exactly.
which
All right.
cleans air.
Which cleans the air. Now, when did you guys start talking about this idea? Because I know it was after you met me or before you met me.
I think it was before we met you, because the pandemic starts in December 2019.
Okay.
And I think in the spring 2020 we started this project, or the invention of this project.
Okay. So how does that, this is what I'm interested in. Do you guys sit down and have a roundtable discussion about like, okay, Hong Kong project it's not complete, but it's finishing up. You know, the next project, you know, you're looking for the next project. You guys are writing offers, you're writing tenders, but in the meantime, there's something more locally that you can manufacture. Do you sit down and have a meeting and say, okay, I think we should do this?
Yeah, in the way like this, we decided to do this. Also made a little inside filter, or use our know-how for the inside filter, and that is what we have done.
Okay.
But I think the beginning was your project, Gerd, with the metro in Paris.
Yes,
They want something for the railway station, for the metro, to clean the air on the stations.
Underground or above
Underground.
ground?
underground.
Okay.
That is absolutely right. We have this in a bigger form, not a room. We have a station, a metro station.
Mhm.
You know, also there it's a very polluted air from the train.
There's lots of other things down there too.
Yes, maybe. And they want to have the clean air. And and the city was Paris. They tried with different companies to get a very good result. So, and we was part of
A research and development project.
Yes, a big project.
Okay.
And we developed our clean or filter system for this big one metro station, and we didn't get the result because it was a little bit secret. Yes, nobody gets a result because it's just environmental things for Paris, and we was not involved. We just delivered the filter system. So, and I mean, yes, we had made on this project this tower a little bit bigger.
Okay, so this is something that
That's the first step.
ah
Then
Yeah.
there was the diesel gate
right,
with the cars,
right.
and some cities thinks about big filters, putting them on the street,
Okay.
like containers,
Okay.
very big things. And I think some cities like Kiel and so on, they have one on the street.
Mm-hmm.
We think about this, to do this, and then, it was not so well done. The people says no, that's absolutely
So that you have
stupid
like a
to
big
do
filter
this.
system on the street that people walk
Yeah.
by and it would just
Yeah.
suck.
But,
Okay.
but nobody of the city majors or something else made a decision to take this or to make this.
Yeah, that sounds like a political
Green
nightmare,
Party says
right?
that's absolutely stupid. Other says we need it,
Ah,
but it doesn't run in this. And from this
Mhm.
step, we think about the metro filters
Mhm.
and so on, and then the epidemic comes,
right.
and we think about room filter, indoor filters
Okay.
for lawyers and offices and
Language
so on.
schools,
Language schools and
classrooms.
so on. And
Okay.
uh,
Gas stations.
yeah, more for hotels and restaurants.
Yeah, hotel lobbies.
And you need a little bit of place. Our filter is not so big,
Hmm.
but for photo shooting, we ask a doctor I know,
Hmm.
and we take this filter in his rooms,
Hmm.
and you have no place
Okay.
to take it because the doctor's rooms are so small,
Right.
and he's working like a dentist.
Hmm.
There was no place. But if you have a restaurant or something, and you can put it in a corner so you don't see it, but you also can put it in the middle of the room with some advertisement from your own company
Okay.
or for other companies.
That's right. So let's go back to that. Let's go back to the tower unit. It has, on one side, it has 3 panels, right?
Yes.
2 or 3 panels.
2 or 3 panels. Okay. And those panels, the material can be,
And not the material, the design or the color, for example, if you want, or the
Yeah,
The mat-
you can choose many colors.
but like what Markus is saying with advertisement, is that like a
No, you
translucent or transparent? No, what am I thinking?
you
Like,
can put on a mirror
uh-huh.
if you have a
Okay, you can put a
clothing
mirror.
shop.
Right.
People looks, it's good or not. You have a
But if we
mirror.
had one in Lingua, right, and we wanted to display the company logo, is it lit like a shop sign, or is it just in?
No, it's a panel made from wooden,
Okay,
and
And
you
it
can
just
do
says in
everything
Lingua,
on
okay.
it. You can take your
so it doesn't have LEDs in it. That's what I'm saying.
you can
You can put LEDs in it.
put in screen
Mm-hmm.
for information for in lingua English
Okay.
courses, French, Netherlands, and
Okay,
you can make advertisement for a car company where you buy your cars.
right.
You
Peugeot.
can take it here in your rooms, and they pay you 50 euros every month for the advertisement.
Perfect.
You can put the weather data on it or something like this.
Okay.
And you also can only put it in the room with green, red, yellow.
So you can
Panels.
whatever colors you want.
Yeah.
and it's a wooden product, these panels, and you can change the grain
Okay.
from different trees. So you have different optics on this.
Okay, different
Tower.
optics. Now, 1 unit per how many square meters is effective in filtering out all viruses, all bacteria?
I think 200 square meters.
200 square meters.
It's a maximum.
It's
right?
it's a
It's up to the high of the room.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
high of the room
and
and
the rule of how many times you have to change the air in this room to clean this completely.
Okay.
So sometimes you have to change rotate the air in the room 5 times.
How do you rotate the air in the room 5 times?
You suck the air in this furniture and blow it out,
Uh-huh.
and then you have to reach this process 5 times to complete.
From the cubic meter
Okay.
of the room.
Yes,
And I know that there's different settings.
yes.
So let's talk about noise level. So if it's running at 50%, you guys told me that okay, if we're doing a podcast right now. If we had a unit in this room, and this room is small, could we run it at 30% or 40% and still have a
Yeah,
conversation?
you can,
Yeah.
from 10% up,
Okay,
you can every
okay,
1% up to 100. And it's not louder than a refrigerator.
okay. It's
If
not
you
louder
take
than a
the
refrigerator.
Nearly to 50%.
That's
If you
it.
have 100%,
Uh huh.
it's a little bit louder, but
Right.
normally you don't need this highest step. And if you have a conference room,
Mm-hmm.
you can clean the room before you started the meeting.
Okay,
Then you go down to 30, 40 or 50%.
cool.
You can make your meeting, people leave the room, you take it higher,
Uh huh.
and for the next meeting, and then you can,
Do you need to leave it turned on every 24 hours a day, or just during the work day?
It's up to the customer.
Okay.
If they want, they can choose. Yeah.
Okay.
They can run him the whole day, or they can use him 2 hours, whatever.
Yeah, if it's necessary.
Okay.
Yes.
So from start to finish, from start of the project to first prototype, how long was that time period? Because I saw the prototype.
I think a half year.
5 or 6 months.
Okay,
Yes.
5 or 6 months. That was all done in-house, design,
Yes.
everything. Okay, from start of the project to the first unit that was manufactured for sale, what was that time period?
I think it's 7 or 8 months.
So 7, 8. So you brought,
Yes, I think eight months.
8 months.
nearly.
okay, so you brought a product to market in
Yeah.
8 months.
Yes.
Okay.
So fast as possible, because there comes new rules to work against this pandemic, and our opinion was to sell this product before the COVID virus or the pandemic is over.
Okay,
But nobody knows what happens in this time.
right. But even if there's no pandemic, this product is still a good idea.
Yeah, sure. And I think also the people looking for a good air quality.
But with the pandemic,
Yes.
this is a masterpiece.
Yes, but it costs some money, and only private people will pay this money.
Can we talk about cost
This-
per unit? Can we talk about the costs?
It costs some money. It's not.
Well, how much
the
does it, can you
cheapest
tell us
one.
how much it costs?
We work in a high price market.
Uh-huh.
Scott, think about it.
Yeah.
If a filter costs 6,000 or 7,000 euros per classroom,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
in
dude.
one school you have 40, 50 rooms,
Yeah,
plus the
that's what I said.
teachers' farm and so on.
It's a moneymaker.
And so, no, you get in, and it's not the school who buys it. It's the office of the state,
Right.
of the country, or
Well,
so
it comes
on.
out of the education budget.
So they have to buy 7, 8, 900,000 or more
Right.
of these things.
Yeah.
Then you get in the whole price for all filters are so high that you have to do it in the European Community. You
Yeah,
have,
yeah, the European Union.
you have to say, okay, who wants to deliver us these things? And then it's not our market.
Okay.
To say, okay, we built 10,000 of this filter in 1 year or 6 months.
Uh-huh.
And the normal filter looks like a refrigerator,
Right.
and we have a furniture.
Yeah. I mean, yours is definitely more elegant.
Yes, but
So-
it's not interested in a school.
Well, I mean, like, not maybe right now, because schools are overwhelmed with other issues of like teaching
Yeah.
online and computers and like, these sorts of things. But if the pandemic continues, and it seems like the pandemic is going to continue because mutation after mutation, then what you're talking about, the Ministry of Education, not only in Berlin, but the Ministry of Education in Magdeburg, right? I guess that's where that office is. And they're going to have to make some decisions. If they're going to use some of their budget that's allocated to the schools, if they're going to spend it on your product. Well, let's say if a new school was going to be built here in Dessau, and the construction company contacted you guys for something like, built-in system. Could you do that?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a bigger filter,
Right.
like the tunnel technology.
Okay,
That's no problem.
perfect.
Then you can plan it from the beginning, like a climatic plant or so on.
Yeah.
You can combine it.
So one unit is 6,000, but just like if I go out and buy an electric car, the German authority, the German government is going to give me, 10,000 euros or something like this? The ones that you are selling on the market right now, are they getting is the price subsidized by the state to the customer? Are they getting a discount?
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's an incentive.
Yes, but
But,
you have to show them that you have 70% less money like the month last year or so on.
okay, so you need to show
Only
them
if you make no business,
that. Okay.
you get money from the state for this. I think a law
Mm-hmm.
don't get money for this.
Okay.
But if you have a restaurant, you have
Ah.
a good position to get money from the state for this filter.
Okay, so maybe
And
for
so
a business.
the most, I think,
Yeah, maybe some hotels or buildings where there comes different people together,
Mhm.
like a kino or whatever, or a museum,
Okay.
where you have no place to put or to hold on the distance between one person to another.
Okay. Even I was noticing the design that you guys have, this panel design, tower design, it's even like inspired by Bauhaus probably. Mentally. It looks like Bauhaus, right?
Yes, a little bit.
yes,
We are in Dessau here.
no, but the hotels and restaurants get money for this,
Yeah.
and I think 80 or 90% of the salary
Okay.
in the moment are restaurants, hotels. I think it's two or three.
So let's talk about I know you guys have, how many units have you sold?
At the moment, I think it's 22 or 24.
Okay, what's the feedback so far?
No, the first one we sold, we got the feedback, put it in a cafeteria,
Uh-huh.
and it runs without problems.
Perfect.
It runs very good, and the visitors
Mm-hmm.
says, "Oh, that's nice that you do this for us," and they like it that there is something which filtered the air.
Okay.
And it's positive from the visitors.
Yeah, I mean, they feel more protected at work.
Yes.
Yeah. Because the masks, man, nobody wants to wear a mask in an office for the rest of their
Don't know if
lives.
It's working or not.
Yeah, but you can also say it's not only for the pandemic. You can also protect the allergic people when
Okay,
in this-
people with allergies?
with allergies. We
Uh-huh.
yes,
Ooh, see, you're thinking post-pandemic. That's good.
yeah, you can sell it after pandemic.
Yeah, of course. It's a
And,
good
and
product.
also, since it's not allowed to smoke in a restaurant
Mhm.
or bar,
Mm-hmm.
you smell the dust of the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because if there are smokers, you have no problem with the kitchen. But now, sometimes you have the smell of the kitchen in the restaurant room.
Okay. Yeah.
And with a filter from us,
Okay, the
you have-
fumes would go
you
out.
don't smell this.
Interesting. So that
You can clean the air from the dust.
I
of
don't
the
know.
kitchen.
I like walking in and it smells like schnitzel. Schnitzels and cigarettes. Yeah. Well, I think it's a fantastic product, and I hope it sells like crazy. And the next idea you guys come up with, let me know beforehand, okay? Are we in agreement on that? Am I part of the team now? Yeah.
Yes, you have to work with us for the next 2 years.
Mm. Yeah,
You
just
know?
give me a
You know
contract.
it?
So, I'll sign the contract tomorrow. Okay, just make sure it's
No,
more.
we have English course with to.
Oh yeah, of
20
course, of course.
And in your next podcast, you have to make a commercial for us.
This, you know what? This is FILTRONtec's podcast. This is FILTRONtec's advertisement. But anyway, I thank you so much for coming in. This is the first time we're having a class discussion. This is actually really nice. I appreciate it, and you guys did perfect.
So we appreciate
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Thank you that we
Thank
can
you,
be
yes.
here.
yeah. Thank you for coming.
and we hope we can make another one.
Yeah, why not? Let's do a follow-up when you pass
Yes.
10,000 units.
Yeah. This is the number.
All right, guys, thank you very much, and we will see you next week.
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay.
Next.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to InLingua Podcast, live from Dessau. We hope you stay tuned for more episodes.